Hey everyone, welcome back to the HDBaseT booth, live streaming from ISE 2020. I'm Jonathan Blackwood from Commercial Integrator. I'm joined by Gabi Shriki from Valens. Gabi, what is the connection between Valens and HDBaseT?
Okay, great question. HDBaseT is a co-founder of the Valens is the co-founder of the HDBaseT Alliance. Together with Sony, LG, and Samsung, we created an industry body that is helping us govern the specification, make sure there's interoperability between the different products, very important element in the ecosystem. I'm personally heading the audio-video business at Valens, and we are specializing in this AV market.
Okay, and Valens is showing some chipsets here at the booth from HDBaseT. Could you tell us about what you guys have?
So we are showcasing multiple products. The most important one will be the Stello family. Stello family of products is actually the new products that realize the HDBaseT Spec 3.0. There are plenty of good things happening with this device, and I would like to emphasize them. In the past, we had products that were either a transmitter or receiver, and now with the Spec 3.0, the same chip can act as a transmitter and receiver. That is tremendous help for the vendors and the ecosystem, because now they can have single box that can act either as a transmitter or receiver. It will be helping them to reduce SKUs of products and be more efficient in their installation. The Stello family is also bringing new capabilities. For the first time, and it's still the only silicon out there that can do extension of HDMI 2.0, 4K 60, 444, the full HDMI 2.0 max resolution, and in an uncompressed manner. All other solutions today going over copper will require compression, and that is a big thing. And compression is not only helping in terms of the video quality or no latency. It's really very important also for the interoperability of products. Because once you do compression, you have to make sure that you are doing some ways of protocol management between the two sides, for example, for HDCP, for HDR, for Dolby Vision, for other things that are important for our market. And when you do that out of band, in a unique proprietary way, it actually makes the product not interoperable with other products. And that's the power of HDBaseT's specification and the HDBaseT standard, that it is forming an ecosystem which is interoperable. Products from company A will talk to product with company B when they realize HDBaseT.
Okay.
That's very important.
And one thing that I think comes up in the industry a lot is HDBaseT and AV over IP. I think a lot of people try to pit them against each other, but really what is the difference between these two standards, and can they coexist?
I will detail the differences, but as a statement I would say that HDBaseT and AV over IP are more complementary technologies than competing technologies. Sure, for a certain small share of the market it will be competing, but if you look at it, in a zoom, you will see that it's more complementing. And the fundamental point is that if we look at what problem we're trying to solve, you understand why it's complementary. HDBaseT is great at the in-room, small scale, point-to-point, uncompressed extension or distribution. And that is really what we do well. And if you think of commercial meeting rooms, this is all you need. For the large scale cases, if you want to distribute across a large venue like airport or maybe a big campus, you have to go over the IP network infrastructure, and that's where AV over IP comes to play. So in a sense, if you look at solving the problem with a single technology, you will fail. The right way to go is use HDBaseT, HDMI as well, HDBaseT and AV over IP technologies combined to create what I like to call a hybrid network. HDMI, HDBaseT, and AV over IP. And use the right technology when you need it. So if I'm in a meeting room and it's a small meeting room, and the distances require only 1 meter away, I will use HDMI only. If the distances are larger, and I will be able to use HDMI to HDBaseT products, our product is most cost effective. We have on one silicon the HDMI interface and the HDBaseT extension. If you want to solve in-room solution with AV over IP, you need a decoder and encoder on both ends, because the IP switch does not have any HDMI inputs, right? So why would I spend a few hundreds to $1,000 box if I can solve it with a $3, $5, 1 meter cable of HDMI? That's the key point. So people are confusing HDBaseT and AV over IP because they run on the same medium, on the same cable, the same category cables that are used for Ethernet and IP networks. These are the same cables that HDBaseT uses. HDBaseT in fact can run on other cables as well, but we chose to run on the same cables because this is a very cost-effective, high-performing cables, easy to install. Our integrators and installers like them because they can terminate it in the field and have the right distance, and it's very easy to maintain. So we chose the same cable, but the HDBaseT is a protocol that was built from the ground up for what we call time-sensitive network, and audio-video is definitely falls into this category of time-sensitive network. If you try to put an HDMI 2.0 content, which is equivalent to an 18 gigabit of bandwidth of raw content over IP network, if you go over 1 gigabit network, then you have to compress at least 18 to 1 in order to get there. If you want to go over a 10 gig, you have to do at least 2 to 1 in order to go there. So you have to apply compression to get there. And I think the other biggest problem for this AV over IP market is the fact that there is no standardization. So if I buy a product from company A that does it over 1 gigabit network, try to connect it to another company who builds over a 10 gigabit network, it will not work by definition. But even within the 1 gigabit network, if I buy company A who does it over 1 gig and a company B that also uses 1 gig, they are still not talking to each other because each one of them uses a different compression method. They are not interoperable. And that's really the power of HDBaseT, being interoperable. The new product, the generation 3 product that we have here, is actually backward compatible to generation 2 and generation 1. So you are tapping into an existing ecosystem of products that is already installed, 10,000s and more of products that are every year installed in the world. This is very powerful.
Yeah, well, that's a very thorough explanation, and I thank you for it, and I think it's something that integrators specifically need to know. They need to understand the differences between the two and how they really work together and when to use them. So thank you for that. Gabi Shriki from Valens, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.